All right, listen. The suspense is real, right? And anytime I ask this brother to jump on a live, y'all understand one thing and one thing only.
Sir.
It's gonna be a classic. I got Mr. Voch Lombardi in the building. I gotta do my own drops.
But you seen DeJuan Jones?
Hey. Oh, we can talk draft. We can talk draft. Hey, did you see Cedric Tillman?
They all look good, man. All our draft kids look good, man.
All our children. It's so funny because when Voch tweeted out, "Hey, all the real draft nerds gonna be watching this game," I felt that here, Voch.
For sure, my guy.
I felt it here. You
Going
know,
live with
man.
Foots.
Listen. We got so much to get to, but I would be remiss if I didn't, and it's public knowledge, if I didn't take some time to give my prayers and thoughts to Mr. Law Nation. I tell y'all a quick story, and then I'll let Voch give his thoughts. Me, Law, and Voch, this is us three now. Mm-hmm. We go way back. Yep. I'm talking about 2018, 2017.
Yep.
At the draft, we was grinding, dog.
Yeah.
Like our first link up, we was just in like a restaurant that just took a chance on us. You know what I mean? It was like, and we had a lot of people come out. I know if we did something like that, I'm pretty sure it would be even bigger now. Yeah. And we need to plan to do something like that. But just the humility that Law showed, because y'all don't know, but like Law really that guy. Yeah. Law's that guy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like we cool, but Law's that guy. So just a hardworking dude. Make sure that he gives y'all the coverage. Like Law be up at like 12 and I don't know how he does it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I know that like him even being away, I know he still wants to work.
Sure.
But I can imagine it's stressful for him. So y'all just make sure y'all send a prayer for that man.
Yeah, that's his outlet, and I was talking to Will Steele, and I think just sharing this with you, Foots. I'm 31, right? And all y'all older than me, but I still go to y'all for counsel sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. And I knew I wanted to reach out to Law, but I didn't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? Because a situation like that, bro, like if somebody lose their job, boy, I know exactly what to say. Somebody lose their job, like they lose their cat, they going through some mild compared to what he's going through right now. I know exactly what to say, boom, boom, boom. But I have no clue what to say to a person. You know what I'm saying? You can't be like, hey, I know how you feel. I can't say that, right? So all I could do, Will still talk, hey man, just send your love and positivity in a very genuine way, and it took me a long time to type and backspace what I was saying, but what I said, I meant it. I ain't want to do it on Twitter and make a headline or nothing like that. Like I sent him what I wanted to send him, and he ain't even had to respond. I just wanted to just let him know and just send positivity his way because I know we going through it. So, Lord, we love you, man. We love you.
Lord, we love you. Chat box, can we just get a prayer condolence? A prayer emoji for Mr. Law Nation. Like I said, I've been with Law since the car videos. I've been with Voch since he was just doing scout work.
Yep.
And was Voch Lombardi was one of probably the only, it's a market now. Voch Lombardi was the only person doing film on YouTube. Understand that. So he was so you got to know the history.
Yep.
Anyway, turning the page. Voch, first of all, how you doing, brother?
You seen DeJuan Jones? you seen DeJuan Jones, didn't you? Seen him?
He's a big guy, bro. Like I knew he was a big dude.
Yeah.
Like he's a big athlete, Voch.
I'm hoping that Schoonmaker turns into something that'll make me go, all right, we cool. You know what I'm saying? Because we are lacking at the offensive line right now. This is real life. Cowboys are lacking at the offensive line. Now, DeJuan playing right tackle, and our best offensive lineman is our right tackle right now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how that would fit. But just watching DeJuan Jones play, man, I was like, hey, man, they're one of my draft babies, man. There you go. But we have our guys right now. He's a Brown. It is what it is. Ain't nothing we can do about that. However, let me ask you, Footsy, can you want me? Let's just do it. I did this on my show today.
Let's talk about it.
I did this on my show today, and we're gonna be running this all week, man. The rookies making it tough for a lot of 3-year, 4-year guys, or year 3, year 4 guys, right? Which of these matchups is most intriguing to you? Okay. Rather, like not even matchups, right? But like depth chart battles, camp battles, especially going into preseason, we really get to see who you are, right?
Yeah.
Semi Fehoko versus the Jalen Tolberts, Kevontae Turpins of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Kelvin Joseph, Nashawn Wright versus Eric Scott. That type situation.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Deuce Vaughn versus Rico and Malik and those guys, right?
So don't bury that lead just yet, Voch.
Okay,
You burying that mug. So
let's do all of them. Let's do all three. Let's go corners first. Eric Scott, Nashawn Wright, Kelvin Jones. What you think about that battle?
whew, I mean, if we're being honest right now, I think, man, you would probably have to say Scott, Wright, Joseph.
Yeah.
Which could change in preseason. Like preseason is the end all be all to a lot of this stuff, right, Voch?
Yep.
But and this is what I wanted this show to be. So that's cool because I don't know, man. Like I just think that Eric Scott has something with him.
Yeah.
And I think that this regime is like, hey, I think that we've given Kelvin Joseph. And you know what's so funny about Kelvin Joseph? The ability's still there. You see the hip turn. Yeah. I just don't know if he loves ball the way that the rest of these guys do. And I think that the thing with Eric Scott was when he was drafted, the athletic profile is off the charts. Yeah. I mean, he went to a smaller school, but he's an East-West Shrine Bowl guy. Yeah. Like he can go, Voch. So I think that's how you would have to rate the corners if you were asking me.
Kelvin is clearly the athlete, but he's not the dog of the bunch. When you watch Eric Scott, right? Eric Scott plays with his physicality. He plays with all his athleticism, all the length that he has. He uses every single tool that he possibly can, and he fights foots. Nashawn Wright, who gives up plays, but Nashawn Wright will at least make some picks also. Like he'll at least he's feisty. He's a fighter, right? Kelvin will make a play by way of his athleticism. But what that tells me, though, if you have athleticism with no fight, the minute you run into an athlete that's on par or better than you, you're going to be in for a long night. And that was one of Kelvin Joseph's biggest problems, like giving up the big play. We knew he was athletic, but giving up the big play was one of his problems. Let me add this dynamic to you, though, Foots. Eric Scott is the young guy. Bet. Cool. Kelvin Joseph has the most stake into kicking teams, right? Teams are important, Foots. Teams are important. Also, right. Kelvin Joseph is currently your backup nickel guy.
I saw that on the depth chart,
Jordan Lewis probably going to be pup guy till week 8 or so. Nashawn Wright really only playing corner, but Nashawn Wright's playing corner better than Kelvin Joseph right now. What do? Kelvin Joseph's versatility. Nashawn's making improvement. He's better than Kelvin, but he's not as versatile as Kelvin right now. Eric Scott just better than all of them. I ain't even ready to put Eric in this conversation, right? Because Eric just up. If Eric has a good preseason showing and he catches a pick or two, makes some tackles, makes some passes, Eric Scott is on the team and he's in the rotation. It is what it is, right? If something happened to one of the outside guys, Eric Scott goes in. I'm confident about that. Nashawn Wright versus Kelvin Joseph. Is Nashawn's outside cornerback playmaking, because he's made some plays, versus Kelvin Joseph's versatility. I can play nickel, I can play outside, I can play kicking teams.
Ooh, that's a good one. I would say you would probably have to go with Wright, just because of the camp that he's had. Sure. They do value versatility. Yep. It's probably one of the reasons why Jalen Brooks was drafted. However, he has jumped and surpassed who he was supposed to be for this team, which we'll get to him. That was one of your questions. Mm-hmm. I would have to go. I would have to go Nashawn Wright. I just think that while he has gotten beat, he's made plays. And I just think that's unfortunate.
But look, though, this is the bad part about it too, though, Foots. I'm with you. I'm in agreement. Mm-hmm. I agree that Kelvin Joseph isn't the guy on this roster right now. He should be cut. But don't you think, right? Because we draft guys, right? We're roster building guys. Don't you think that Eric Scott and Nashawn Wright create a redundancy on your team? We're always talking about having guys that can fit multiple type of roles, sizes, and things like that. Nashawn Wright and Eric Scott are basically both the same type of guy. It's just that Eric Scott's the one that's playing better right now. Also, too, though, for some else that we got to keep into account, Nashawn's covering more wide receiver one type guys, more first team guys, and Eric Wright shutting down his guys on his level. I think that's something that we got to have a conversation about. But they're both the tall, the tall, long outside corner. We ain't really got nickel corner besides Jordan Lewis, who's on pup, and then there's Deron Bland. So Kelvin might just have to be here. Kelvin Joseph should be all. He's not winning these fights, and this is Voch Kelvin Joseph fan. Kelvin Joseph ain't winning none of these fights, was the king. And he's gonna have to go, but he's the guy that got the versatility, and he's not as redundant as the other guys.
And he's a teams guy. So
Team.
it's tricky because if you he may get one more year of rope, right? But I don't know how it is. It's tough, right?
Yeah.
I think that him and Semi, he had a big drop today where Dak just threw it, and this is what I told people about the beginning, the middle, and now the end. We're coming towards preseason games. I said, listen, from the moment you get to Oxnard, Will McClay is watching you.
Yep.
He's watching drill work. That's what makes him so good at his job, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a drop here or there. It's it's Kelvin getting beat here or there,
being hurt, being available,
like availability. Yep. And every day, you can go over there with Brett Brown. That's cool. But guess what? They're watching. Will he's making a list and checking it twice. Yeah. He says in every interview, and me and you are Will McClay stands.
Yep.
I love you. My job is to replace you.
Yeah.
And so I think that they have actually mastered that. They've mastered the late round corner. Voch is so interesting because, if you told me that Kelvin Joseph loved football and that his mind was in the right mind, his mind was in the right place, he's a starter on his team because the traits are there. They weren't wrong for trying to draft the player. I mean, the player has everything, but up here, it's just not there to play on the edge. It's definitely. I mean, you lost the game because of the guy. Unfortunately, you lost the Jacksonville game. Receiver play and corner play against Jacksonville and that was a big game. That swung some things, right? Yep. So I just feel like that Nashawn Wright. I feel like, and if he has to step up on teams, it would be that Voch. So that's kind of my answer for that.
Yeah, fair enough. I agree. I just think the young guy right now is just having a day. Now, this is a good problem to have though, Fuzzy King, because none of their ass gonna see the field with Gilmore and Diggs and Bland and all that. Like, they're not gonna see the field, but this is just a good problem to have. We just talking about the depth. We just talking about guys taking spots. We just talking about what to look for in preseason games. And it's cool at practice, right? But what are you gonna look like versus another dude that's fighting for his life also? Which brings us to wide receiver now, Fuzzy. Now, I didn't have a whole bunch of Southern Miss film, and I was mad at you and Will Steele. Y'all say Eric was from Southern Missouri. He's from Southern Mississippi. Southern Mississippi. But I definitely didn't have no South Carolina film for Jalen Brooks. But word on road saying he the guy. He the guy, Fuzzy King. And we see on Training Camp Live, and we see everybody tweeting about it. Kevontae Turpin getting involved, and Jalen Tolbert is having a renaissance. He's coming back, and he's the South Alabama kid we thought he was. And Semi Fehoko been hurt, and he's coming back. And boy, the very first camp highlight off Dak Prescott and said was off Semi. You know what I mean? So this ain't me trying to get rid of Semi.
No, and he has a hive, by the way.
Because I love Semi has a hive. I love Semi, and if I had to pick which dude's gonna have the best preseason game, it's probably gonna be Semi.
That's just how it works.
But it's two things that's working against him. Semi's not going to have fourth on the football in preseason. That's a problem.
That's a great point.
Every single year we get these receivers and we want them to have good looks, but Cooper Rush that mother can win 4 games in the regular season, but he can't make a throw in preseason. That's just how Cooper Rush does.
That's just how he is. He just doesn't care.
Cooper Rush or Will Greer. So it's hard to get good looks on these guys. It's hard to know what's Jalen Brooks, what's Jalen Tolbert, what's Semi Fehoko, what's Kevontae Turpin going to look like with a real quarterback throwing him the football, right? Nothing against Cooper Rush. It just is what it is. But as of camp, every time I see Jalen Brooks going crazy, it's because Dak threw it to him. It's because Dak threw the football. You know what I mean? Even though I think Semi's probably, because I remember Semi's camp from last year, right? Semi had a great camp last year. He's just dealing with injury now. So I just had to imagine if we get into the preseason, I can only guess that Semi will be a guy that goes crazy. But Turpin, in terms of his skill set, if they gonna use him, you can use an explosive guy in Turpin. Tolbert is a guy that we know, and Murphy, Miles Brooks, he's just Miles. Is it Murphy or Brooks? Because it's Jalen Brooks.
Jalen Brooks, yeah.
Because Miles Brooks play corner. And Jalen Murphy
down the roster a little bit, yeah.
Right, cornerback. And Jalen Murphy is having a fantastic cornerback. He's having a fantastic camp for this game. So
Jalen Brooks, yeah.
So it's a lot of drama in the wide receiver room, man. Somebody ain't gonna make it.
So, and this is what I want to ask you for our preseason watch list. You brought up 2 good points. I'm gonna add another. The line play behind our starters could also affect the receiver play. So I would say this:
ain't gonna be no D balls because Josh Ball finna get somebody killed.
That experience. I'm done. So here's my thing about Jalen Brooks. Here's another thing. He was brought in, and he's spoken about this. Sure. He was brought in to attack special teams, Voch.
Yep.
Like that's what he thought he was coming in, and then lo and behold, South Carolina receiver, good traits.
Yep.
And what does he do? He comes in and he makes plays, Voch. So, and he's been making plays. He's caught everything. I think he is the prime example of what a possession receiver looks like. He's not going to run away from you. That's not his game, but he catches everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that when you talk about Semi, I just think he's too hot. He's too cold. Now, that being said, Voch, they go out and make plays in preseason. Everything is up in smoke, right?
Yep.
But
yep.
I do believe that this is real with Turpin and Brooks. Now, the one who I want to see be consistent, because if you remember from last year, he actually did some nice things, right? But the one that I want to see carry something over, because he's in the plans, but Tolbert.
Yeah.
There's 4 guys that I'm watching the preseason. Tolbert, receiver-wise, because they're going to get a lot of the reps. Yep. Tolbert, Turpin, Brooks, Semi Fehoko.
Yeah.
Those are my 4 guys where it's just like you may put them in the slot a little bit, you may put them on the edge a little bit, but they need to come out and make plays. And it was just like with Dennis Houston last year. And every year there's a receiver who everybody loves. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to fall for that trap. I really want to see it this Sunday when we play.
Yeah. I didn't know TJ Vasher wasn't on the team no more. I just didn't know. I just pulled up the list here. Let me ask you this though, Foots. One guy that got more in-game experience than all those guys is Dennis Houston. What do we do with him? Because he's actually playing a real game. He wasn't great, but he did it. He was out there. He was all.
And you see, they signed Brandon Cooks this offseason. They said we're not doing that again. Expeditiously. With Houston, I think he's in that same vein. I think the problem with Houston is he's slow. Yeah. I don't think that he has the same burst that these other athletes have, and I think that's going to be Dennis Houston's problem. I think Dak likes him. Mm-hmm. I think Dak likes everybody, but I think that Dak makes athletes look good. But if you told me pop, I would say that Jalen Brooks probably has a little more pop than Houston.
Yeah.
And Tolbert definitely does, and Tolbert's had a better camp than those guys. So
Cropper, he had a good day. Jalen Moreno Cropper had a good day.
Moreno Cropper is the one that is going to be hard to get him to the practice squad.
Yeah, I think
talking about the Fresno kid.
Yep.
Yeah, he is the one that I don't know how he. I honestly don't know how he gets to the practice squad, me personally, because he could go. He could play, but see, I don't know if he'll even get those opportunities. You got to think it's political in the NFL. Voch, 7th round pick.
Yeah.
Undrafted free agent.
Mm-hmm.
Your 3rd round pick from last year. Like Tolbert's going to get those looks. Semi's going to get those opportunities. They're trying to give Semi the job. Mm-hmm. If he could take it, and then obviously Turpin just has that electricity. All right, Voch, let me ask you this. Preseason watch list. I have my kind of list and just some players who I said, this is who I'm watching. And it's not all for battle purposes. Like some of these battles, let's be honest, they're coming to a conclusion, Voch. I thought it was interesting today finding out that, Rico Dowdle is your number 2 running back.
They love Rico. They love Rico Dowdle.
But Voch, do you like Rico before we get to our preseason?
When he was in South Carolina, I thought he was fantastic, but he's been hurt since he's been here. So
that's my thing.
I haven't seen Rico as a Cowboy yet, but when Rico was in South Carolina, I loved Rico. But
did you?
Yeah, man. You know, he was one of those under the radar guys. When I noticed that I think he was undrafted. When I noticed that we had signed him, I was excited about it. But we don't know what he looks like. But think about this: they love Rico so much, right? Because they
Yeah.
can say we love anybody, right? They can just say if they love anybody. But Rico is one of them. Oh, I got a hamstring. I'm out for the season.
Yeah, man.
They protected Rico to keep him for a long time, Foots. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta imagine that if he's healthy, he's gonna be in the conversation somewhere. What does that do with Malik? Because Deuce ain't going nowhere.
Dude's not going nowhere, and he's on my list. It's preseason, like we got to see it. He has to make himself uncuttable. All right, so let me ask you this, Voch. Here's my kind of things that I'm watching. It's not battles. It's just what I'm watching. DeMarvion Overshown.
Yes.
Voch.
Where does he play? What's he gonna
Yeah.
do? Is he gonna be more of a pass rusher, more of a safety guy, more of a linebacker guy? He has a knack to make plays. Does he look lost out there? I understand. Sure.
Micah said something, Voch, that I was watching his interview. And he said, "Hey," he said he had to talk to Overshown. He was just like, "Dog, bro." He said he had a play where he just knifed through and made the play. He was like, "Bro, just play free. You thinking too much. You have the athleticism. Just play. Just fly around." So that's one that I'm watching. The elephant in the room, Voch, and I really want your thoughts on this, is Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah.
For me, and this is just the guy's honest truth, I really just want to see Deuce Vaughn get tackled and get up. What are you watching for with Deuce Vaughn, Voch?
Well, one, he's not that small, Foots, but he's that small, but he's played against big competition before.
Yes.
My whole thing though, and me and Will talk about this all the time. Shouts out to Scott Walker. Still check mine in the morning, A to Z Dallas on YouTube, 8:30, 10:30.
The guy. I was on with him this morning. My guy.
We don't really know what running backs and linebackers going to do until the preseason games, because we can't tell.
Those are the two.
Ground. Oh, we got, we got thumping, but we got to stay up and shit, right? So what if Deuce and his low center of gravity, and he 178, but he's a big muscle. He's just short. That's why he's 178 because he's short. If he was 6 foot, he'll be about 210. He's a thick little dude. You know what I'm saying? Is he going to be hard to find? Is he going to be hard to tackle? And can they get him going in the passing game?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. If Deuce can do all those things, I don't see this world where Ronald Jones is back. Yeah. I don't see a world where he can't make a team. Like, draft capital matters here at this team, Yeah. And we just can't be like, oh well, I don't care about that pick, man. It's some day 3 dudes that turn into dudes on this team. You know what I mean? So Absolutely. If Deuce hang around, I want to know what it looks like to be 5'5" and running behind Tyler Smith. I would love to see it.
I think what you said about getting lost, they had a few plays. One where it seemed like they were running outside zone. I just saw a pin pull on the internet. Michael Gelkin posted, and it's just like those are the type of plays where you get him to the edge, Voch. You give him kind of that 2-way go.
Pin pull like the wide receivers crack and like the offensive lineman pull.
They had Tyron wrap around, and it was like it's kind of like outside zone vibe. And it was just like that was cool because I'm like, okay, they get it. Like he can run between the tackles well, sure. But like, dog, if you get him in space and you put him on those angles, right, and then now you're making these guys tackle him in space. Ooh, Voch, I like it. I like it a lot.
Well, it never hurts to have explosive guys on your team. We know Tony is one. We know Brandon Cooks is another. CeeDee Lamb is considered to be an explosive guy. He may not be the fastest out of all of them. He Brandon, but he's an explosive guy.
He's a bad boy in space.
Sure. Turpin is an explosive guy. I think that's why there's such an urgency to get him involved. I think Deuce is another explosive guy, and you just have to find a way to get those dudes involved. Tony's not going to be on the field all the time, so why not get Deuce involved when Rico's not doing something?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna hold my thoughts on this Rico Dowdle situation because
we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get too high too low. The fact that you like them, Voch, okay, cool. I'm coming around more, but I'm just like, I gotta see guys like if you're a running back and you're not healthy or you have a track record of not being healthy, that bothers me. Because one thing I say about Ezekiel Elliott, for all his shortcomings, he played football, bro. He played a lot of football, Voch. Yep. Right? So that's interesting. Hey, before we go any further, we got 361 people in the chat box. Voch is producing. Voch, give me a drop. There we go. Hey,
I know what you was asking for. I know what you want. Go ahead.
producer Voch in the vibes. Make sure if y'all drop a chat box or a super chat, all that type of stuff, man, it helps me and Voch out. Okay.
John Stevens, Foots, what you think about it? Because when I first heard his name, I thought he was Stephen Jones' son to play a quarterback in Arkansas. But he's a wide receiver turned tight end type character that went under the radar. And when I watched the blue and white scrimmage game in some of these practices, he keeps making plays. He had a pretty big day today. Have you seen him?
I watched him during blue and white, and he definitely did keep making plays. And I'm gonna sound like a broken record. He'll be in the third quarter, maybe fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Does he make play? Now the truth is this, Voch, and we haven't got to our second round pick. Damn it, Scoon. Okay, you just started practicing. I don't want to hear nothing about you not practicing again. Like, I'm starting to get tired of it. No, you pretty much missed it. He missed the whole camp, Voch.
Yeah, the whole camp. Like it's game time now. Like this is game week. He missed all the shit. Yeah.
Like he missed all the camp. Now he's out there today and he looks the part. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, Scone, like
he looks big, but I got to see it though. I got to see him running around and that athleticism, that athletic upside that they've been, trying to sell to us or whatever. I need to see that blocking and build. I need to see if he can block Micah. I'll apologize tomorrow because I ain't seeing nobody be able to block Micah Parsons. But he's the best blocker tight end in the football. If he can block Micah tomorrow and just not die trying to do it, I'll give him some credit and apologize.
Yeah, no, I think that one thing that I've worked on because Voch, it's been times where you said Foots just relax. It's been times when I've just gotten too high, too low on a guy. So I said, well, let's just wait and see. But I don't like when guys come in the league hurt. Voch. Yeah. That's never a good thing.
No.
I mean, because you've missed the dog days.
Yep.
Like Mozzie, for everybody who had an issue with Mozzie Smith, okay, cool. But here's the difference.
Yeah.
Mozzie from the first play, he slow off the ball. Okay, I get it. It's his first day against Tyler Smith and Tyron Smith.
Mozzie gonna learn too, though. Mozzie's gonna learn because he's been doing that for like 4 years, So he's doing that because that's a habit that he's built. But you see the athleticism in Mozzie, like at least Mozzie's out there playing.
Can you, Voch, you a film guy? Can you break down that rep? Because I don't think people understand. So one of the big issues that I had with Twitter that day, just in this. We're fighting a good fight, Voch, but it's hard because so many people just don't understand ball like us. We don't know everything. But listen, you're going against Tyler Smith, who will eventually be a Pro Bowler in this league. I mean, he had a rep today. He just blew up Osa. I mean, dog, he took Osa literally 2 feet back, 1 foot in the air. Like his strength he's stronger than Mozzie, and Mozzie one of the strongest players that's come out of college football history. And Tyler Smith is stronger than him.
Yep.
So he's not gonna penetrate Tyler Smith his first rep in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Like that's just not gonna work, Voch. And then it was a double team and he peeled off. So what are you seeing as far as like his growth, should I say, from day one to now?
Well, Mozzie just got to learn how to do it. Mozzie has the body for it. He has the athletic profile to do it. He just needs to know how, and that's why D-line. Like it's a huge learning curve for D linemen, like some of the guys that are the best D linemen right now, right? Like guys like Jeffrey Simmons, guys like Aaron Donald, these Quentin Williams characters, Deron Payne.
Yeah, Washington.
It take those guys a couple years to really figure it out. Because you can be strong, but like, man, grown man strong is different. All right, cool. You got off-season peanut butter. Now you're caught up to grown man strong. Like now we got to learn how to work our hands and how to get off blocks and the intricacies, right? Like these offensive linemen are assassins and they got a tool belt full of tricks to deal with you. And if you Mozzie, all right, Mozzie, what's your tool belt? What are your tricks? Mozzie says, I'm just strong. And that's not enough right now. The good thing about it, though, is that we're not leaning on needing Mozzie right now. Hankins, we got Osa, we got Bo.
I heard Bo's been practicing really well.
Bo have a good practice, and we just gonna rotate Mozzie, and Mozzie's gonna get going. And by the time we move on from somebody else, Mozzie will be ready to be a force in the league. And somebody's gonna say, "Well, Voch, he's a first round pick. Why do we have to be patient with him?" Well, because you got dudes on this team already. you have dudes in your D-line room. The toughest room you got right now is the D-line room. And Mozzie's in that fight. Mozzie is in
it's a fight. It's a fight, Voch.
It's a fight, man. Neville Gallimore fighting for his life right now. Junior Fajoko fighting for his life right now, Mr. King. Yeah. So the fact that Mozzie is blending in with that room and people are saying, hey, Mozzie got to figure out the whatever. But boy, I see the strength. I see Mozzie moving the pocket. I see flashes of his athleticism. I think that's a good thing because 9 times out of 10, you're not going. These D linemen aren't who they are day one. It's year 3 Osa, and he's going to be a beast this year. But he wasn't this guy year 1 and year 2.
Yeah, man. Ooh, it's really exciting just to see how well this team is drafted, mixed with free agency, because Jonathan Hankins was a free agent, mixed with the list can go on. I haven't been this pleased with the camp and team building and our roster building in a long time, Voch. I put up Wanye Thomas. Yeah, I can remember a time where me and Voch were sitting on this channel or on his channel talking about safeties. I cannot think of a team who has more safety depth.
They getting paid here too. They getting paid here.
Oh yeah, and listen, Malik Hooker earned that money. This is a former first round guy, had injury history with the Colts. Comes into Dallas. You just get the vibe that like Hooker is just like needed in Dallas. Like the team loves him. The back end loves him. I know for a fact that Diggs loves him. So. And then you have guys like Wanye Thomas. Everything that I hear about Wanye is he's super vocal, super physical, super spicy. Like those type of players, they're gonna. I want to watch him in preseason to see, what he can do. What's his vibe like? Because the truth is, hey, I like Marquise Bell. He got hurt today, but that doesn't mean that he's on the team just because we like him, right? That doesn't mean that some of these back end safeties now, what's his name is on the team, our South Carolina kid, but it doesn't mean that I'm drawing a blank. All these guys run together. But he's on the team. Yeah, Izzy's on the team. He's locked, but he's not really a safety. Like he's just whatever you need him to do. But that's what I mean by our depth is just retarded. And this is what I mean. Excuse me, I don't mean to say retarded. Anybody who may have a kid with special needs, I gotta watch it. But our safety depth is stupid. Like it's ridiculous.
But you can't say stupid, man. Some people got stupid kids, but you can't say stupid.
Our safety depth is nuts. I can't say nuts. What can I say?
Pause. Pause.
Hey, but listen, another thing is I found out this today.
Yeah.
A lot of people and players watch us, Voch.
Yeah.
One of them you just mentioned, and I don't care because we're gonna always give you the truth. But it's just funny that players that we made it to the point to where it's like, dog, players really care about us. That's awesome. That's love. Listen,
one of the safeties watching us?
No. I know one of the D linemen is either watching us or has watched or seen our tweets. Or will
also be tuned in. Also be tuned in to us.
Also be tuned in.
Yeah.
Never be tuned in.
Definitely tuned in.
Never be tuned in.
Look, Bo had Bo liked one of my YouTube shorts. Like it was him in Kentucky, right? And he was picking on some kid, and Bo just went in the comments and said ha ha, and I'm like, hey. so hey, I apologize, Cavante Turban, for saying, that you ain't supposed to call you short. And I'm sorry, Turban. My bad. Hey, shit.
No, when I tell you these folks watch, but listen, I love y'all, but I'm gonna always tell the truth. This is if we didn't do that, then we would be somewhere else. We're on Fuss's channel, we're on Voch's channel. We do what we want. So anyway,
the long story short, though, Wanye got a hell of a climb because we got 3 safeties. We got an Izzy and Marquise Bell make politic his way into being around. You know what I'm saying? So that's just that.
Yeah. So the last one that I wanted to ask you about.
Sure.
And this is gonna be funny, but not really, is the kicker situation.
Yeah, we ain't gonna know about that till September. Like the week before the game, that's when we gonna sign it. We might as well get a new topic for the game. We ain't worried about it.
All right, you know what? Let's move on from that.
We're about no kick.
we not worried about. But see, this is my problem with us, right? When you have a team that could be this good, I wouldn't have, and I don't want to waste airtime on a kicker, but
Yeah,
I do believe that
we'll figure
it
it
can
out.
hurt you, Voch.
Most definitely can hurt
It's
you.
getting dangerous.
100% it can hurt you, Foots. But it'll all get figured out. Maher was cool, but shit, Maher wasn't cool when we needed him to be cool. You know what I'm saying? So
Nah.
I had the idea, hey, look, call Garibay and Hallelujah and all the other boys and just bring them in and let them have a battle royale. You know what I'm saying? Just pick a dude. And worst case scenario, I remember this happened to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was having kicker problem. They just started going for two. They just went for two. They just say, F it, we just gonna go for two. Let me ask you this first if you want one last part and topic.
Let's talk about it.
Who's the bigger get? Brandon Cooks or Gilmore? Stephon Gilmore.
Oh, love Gilly, but Brandon Cooks. I'm not gonna say it's not close, but when I did my stock up, I had him as probably the highest stock on our team, even higher than Micah. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Micah now, he's so incredible, and he's so like the way that his vibe is. You hear him talk, he wants to be the best, all the Hall of Fame talk. I really think he believes that, right?
He's a robot, Fuzz. He just want to work and get better and just smoke stuff. He just want to get. Yeah, I know, Fuzz. Yeah, I agree. Go ahead.
Oh, dog, he's a dog. But the truth is, Voch, we weren't competent last year at receiver too. Listen, I really do appreciate everything that what's our guy Zeke's buddy did for us from Ohio State. Noah Brown. Love you, Noah Brown. And Zeke got you paid, and you're a great blocker. Could have been a tight end, put on a little bit of weight. Cool, love you. He was not a viable two option.
Right.
I mean, we have to be honest about this. The league is trending a certain way that good teams understand. Hey, listen, Cincinnati, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. That's three options that could all be a one in different offenses. Like, people got to remember, Tyler Boyd can really play football.
Yeah.
Tyler Boyd's a great player.
Yeah.
What did the Eagles do?
Eagles loaded up. The Chargers loaded up.
The Eagles looked at Devontae Smith.
Right.
This is what I tell people about that franchise.
Yeah.
They looked at Devontae Smith and said, he ain't a one. Love him. He's not a one. When it was Diggs was putting hands, feet, and paws on that boy, couldn't get off the line. Yeah. He's not a one. So what we're gonna do is, Smith, is we're gonna go get you a one so you can look better than what you. Now, I'm not gonna say what you really are, but like when we used to have these conversations, Voch, about him and Jamar chasing that draft class, we used to tell people like, hey, it's Jamar Chase, it's Devontae Smith. Love Devontae Smith, but it's levels. Actually, I would say CD is the closest thing to Chase in the league. Yeah. Because of the I don't think he's better than Chase because Chase has got that lower half that's just different. Like,
sure.
Jamar Chase is just incredible after the catch. And I think CD has some of that too. Right. But it's just a different level. But I think Devontae Smith is more of a route guy, but doesn't stress DBs in that run after the catch vein or that go up top chicken box vein. Yeah. So I think Brandon Cooks, I say all that to say, I really believe that Brandon Cooks already, Voch, has shown you can't double CD.
Sure.
Your two corner is going to get, like, I'm going to tell you, if they try to play zone, like let's say Philly, right?
Dak gonna figure that out. Yeah, Dak's gonna eat
if you just try to sit in that zone, cover 4, cover 6, whatever you're trying to do, Brandon Cooks gets in windows so fast.
Sure.
Voch. That's why I have him as my stock up. Like number one, it's not the deep ball stuff,
right?
It's the way he gets
the route running. It's the route running, the working yourself open, showing Dak your numbers, things like that. Small things for sure, 100%. Me and Sky feel like that Brandon Cooks is gonna have one of his best years that he's ever had because he finally gets to be wide receiver too. You know what I mean? Like he finally gets to CD's one. I get to be 2. Like Brandon he's only had that like twice, and that was in like with the Rams or something, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp or whatever. But besides that, like he's been with like Chris Hogan and you know what I mean, and some of them other guys or whatever. Marcus Colston, rookie Michael Thomas. He wasn't even Michael Thomas yet, but Brandon Cooks get to eat off of Lamb and his work. And that gets to be great. And I love what Schottenheimer and Mike McCarthy's doing with the offense. But Foots,
talk to me.
As good as Dan Quinn's defense was, the only way out was cornerback 2. And this defense was damn near.
Oh, so you want to fight me on this? Let's go.
Well, look, I ain't got to fight you because I'm the one that's right. Listen, as good as this defense was, Foots, let me tell you something. Running up the middle was the first problem. And we fixed it. Then it became perimeter runs. We fixed it. Then it became quick game. Fixed it.
We fixed it.
Then it became reverses, Foots. We fixed it. The last piece that these teams used against us was deep ball versus cornerback 2. They kept abusing cornerback 2, Foots King. Now, normally what we'll do, we'll have a cornerback 1 to whatever extent. It'll be like Byron Jones or something. But on the other side, we'll roll out Darryl Worley and Nolan Carroll, and we'll think that's enough. The Eagles even did it, Foots King. The Eagles will have Darius Slay, but then they'll get a guy like Bradbury, and I don't think Bradbury is all that good, but Bradbury in that scenario kind of fits them or whatever. Fine, but we'll take advantage of when he plays us, whatever.
Yeah.
But the last impediment to Dan Quinn's defense was cornerback 2. And not only did you feel it, but you didn't feel it with a Darryl Worley type character. You filled it with a top 5 player that was defensive.
Future Hall of Famer.
Future Hall of Famer, Foots King. Stephon Gilmore. Somebody asked me, Foots King, they was like, Voch, what's going on with Stephon Gilmore at camp? I ain't heard nothing from him.
That's good.
I bet. I bet you haven't heard nothing goddamn Stephon Gilmore. I seen one play where Gallup made a catch, and it was on the sideline.
He was in his face, bro.
And they was running out of space, and Dak had to make the ball perfect, and Gallup used every bit of reach that he had. That's the only time I've seen Gilmore. I ain't really heard much from Gallup, really, because Gilmore over on that side.
Gilly locks, baby.
Like, you mean to tell me Stephon Gilmore just get to see cornerback 2? I mean, wide receiver 2s now?
Oh yeah,
with this pass rush, come on, man.
I say that. I would say this. I hate admitting, not saying that I'm wrong, but that could be the right answer. But you know what, Voch? I just wanted to rant about Kelvin Joseph losing you a game. I just wanted to rant about as good as
we ain't losing that shit with Gilly.
Gilly locks. I think the thing that's so cool about Gilly is now I think he's 32.
Yeah.
The best thing about Gilly is Eric Scott, Deron Bland, and Trayvon Diggs get to see how he prepares.
Yeah.
When you hear him interview and when you hear him talk, and there's been reports that even at training camp, he gets away from all the players. He goes out to eat by himself. Like he's what you call a pro.
He's a worker. Yep.
Yeah, he's a pro. And I think that at that cornerback position, I believe that he has that short-term memory. I mean, he picked Dak off when we played the Colts.
Sure.
I mean, he's gonna get you. He's been doing that for a long time. He's been doing that since he came out of South Carolina.
Yeah.
So, to your point, Voch, you could go either way. The only reason why I said Brandon Cooks is this. Voch, take a ride down memory lane to the San Francisco game. No. Tony Pollard gets hurt. The rolling coverage to CeeDee Lamb. Michael Gallup just can't separate. They're in Gallup's face. He just can't get open. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? He can't find grass. And I think that's why you brought in Brandon Cooks. Now, on the flip side, we could take that ride down to the Jags game or, the Philly game or whatever game where maybe our passing defense, and it wasn't bad at all. It's probably our run defense more than anything. But, teams took shots on us. But that won't happen either. So it's really a great problem to have, Voch. But I love what you're saying about Gilly married. I always forget about just how good our pass rush is. And he's a well-studied corner.
Yeah.
So like I could
either answer is correct. Either answer, and look, Foots, I'm so excited about what Brandon Cook's gonna be here, right? Because Brandon Cook's in his West Coast offense, it feels like a glove, honestly.
Oh my God. Timing, quick game, all that stuff.
But I will say though, the biggest advantage that Stephon Gilmore got. Can I have my war card ready when I say this?
Do it.
The biggest advantage that we get from Gilmore is that he makes the best player on your football team better.
Makes Micah better.
Micah Parsons about to go crazy. Because look, Mr. King, the best way to be pass rushers, right? I learned this. Look, I learned this in offense school, right? The best way to be pass rushers is you either read them or catch and throw. You read them or catch and throw, right? And look, when they do that against cornerback too, that's taking a sack away from Michael. Throwing cornerback to Trayvon Mullen. Oh, Anthony Brown.
Trayvon Mullen, oh my God.
Xavier Rhodes. You cannot catch and throw versus Gilmore. So if Gilmore, Bland, who had 5 picks last year, and Diggs make the quarterback hold the ball an extra tick, all those hits that Micah had, Micah towards the end of the season leading the league in pressures, them become sacks, bro.
Yeah. Now ooh. Voch, it's hard to argue with that, and I really do believe. Hey, Voch, you know what? Let's end on this.
Yeah.
If there's a position group or what worry do you have if there was one?
I hope Awesome Riches can play.
Okay, talk about
it. I hope Willetsko can play.
I've seen some good reps from Willetsko.
I've seen it, right?
I've seen some good reps.
This defense has been so dominant. I'm hoping that they can't block them boys. Well, I'm hoping that the D line is just good and not the O line just rolling over. Terrence Steele is the best offensive line you have on the team right now. Zach will be back, fine. Tyler's gonna be fine. We don't know if Tyron's gonna be hurt. And the one thing we need to do to ease that when Tyron gets hurt is I need to know if Willetsko can play left tackle. I need to know if Austin Richards can play left guard. I need to see those dudes in preseason. That's my answers for it.
Okay. That's crazy because that's kind of like that's where I am in the same vein. Chuma Dogan.
Chuma can go. Chuma can go his ass to Jacksonville somewhere. I'm over Chuma. Yeah. Josh Ball too. He can go to
Josh Ball, Chuma. I'll be honest, like Bass, some of those guys just haven't. And I'm gonna say this:
Bass need time.
There you go. I just think our defense. I think our defense is just that good too, Voch. Like they're good, bro.
We'll see.
Because
the biggest debate right now on socials is like, man, is Tyron good is Tyron washed, or is Micah just going crazy right now? That's the big debate, right? The whole Tyron versus Micah thing. And what I hope is that Micah beating the shit out of Tyron. Hopefully, like when we get to like real games, Tyron will go, "Oh, Azeez Ojulari, you ain't as fast. I've been dealing with Micah all offseason. Hopefully, it all works out, right?" But if Tyron is washed, I need Willetsko to be ready. I need Austin Ridge to be ready because I need to know if Willetsko can play left tackle, or if Tyler plays left tackle. I need to know if Austin can play left guard, or if I have faith in Fournier. I need to know.
We'll answer this question, and thank you guys for all the super chats. Who benefits more from one or the other, Diggs or Gilmore? This is kind of tricky. I would say Diggs only because Diggs is a fan of Gilmore. I think that he'll learn and study his craft, how to stay in shape, how to train, how to prepare, how to eat right. And I think Diggs is an ultimate competitor. And I think that he's one of those guys that, you saw the whole him and Dak talking like, bruh, that's how it is. Diggs from the DMV. He gonna pop his pop. Like, I don't know if some of y'all don't understand that, but like, if you've ever been on a team, you got a couple dudes who just don't shut up all game. Scrimmage, team situation, 7-on-7, whatever it is, them jokers gonna talk. Them folks gonna talk all game. That just is what it is. So I think that Diggs, but he'll also learn the game from Gilly Locks. So I would say Diggs. You said Diggs too, Voch?
Yeah. Because what's gonna end up happening is Gilmore is gonna beat up on the wide receiver twos. And just like we all know, when you go to offensive play calling school, if your guys get shut down, you're just gonna have to go with your studs, go with your horses, right? You know what I'm saying? What I mean by that is like if Bland is shutting down Boyd and Gilly is shutting down Higgins, Diggs may shut down Jamar Chase, and he's done that before. He may shut down Jamar Chase, but just the fact that Higgins is locked up, they're gonna have to force the ball to Diggs. And whenever you throw the ball to Diggs, shit, the ball can be his too. So I think Diggs gets more turnovers just because wide receivers two is not so easy anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, I completely agree. And you know, this is gonna be a fun year. Voch, do you have any parting comments, any last thoughts for preseason? Is it game Saturday or Sunday? I've been
Saturday,
doing so much work. I thought it
Saturday
was
at 4.
Sunday. I said Sunday, so it's
Saturday,
Saturday.
Saturday at 4. Yep.
Saturday, 4 o'clock. Who do we play? This is sad.
Jacksonville.
This is sad, Voch. I don't even know.
Jacksonville. Yeah.
You don't expect any starters. I don't expect any starters.
Some guys will play, but I'm looking for my rookies though. I want to see what my rookies and young guys do.
Okay. Is there a guy that we didn't mention that you want to talk about, Voch, before we get out of here?
As I look at our last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I need to see what Isaiah Land looks like at linebacker. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
what's the whole plan with him? Is he gonna be more of a linebacker, more of a rusher, whatever? We'll see. I just want to know what the running back rotation looks like in general. These wide receivers, of course, we need to keep eyes on those dudes. And let's see what the young offensive linemen look like. Earl Bostic, our Kansas left tackle, who I thought was terrible, but apparently they got a plan for him. So let's see. TJ Bass, who is very young, but let's see what he looks like versus these other guys. TJ Bass blocking Osa day one can't be good for his health, but maybe TJ Bass look better versus those guys. And besides that, I just need to see what Deuce look like hitting somebody, and that's it for me, bro.
Yeah, and I know Voch was ready to throw up in his seat watching DeJuan Jones just dominate, just completely dominate. Knowing Dallas could have had him, but it is what it is.
Gave up zero pressures.
Zero pressure. Like
the whole game.
Listen, nobody was even close to. What's his name actually played good too. That quarterback that went to UCLA. So it'll be interesting just to kind of see. I just want to see Dallas play clean football. They don't have to win this game. I don't really care, but I want to see clean football. I don't want to see a lot of penalties. And I want to see, I'm praying for decent quarterback play so we can evaluate these receivers.
Yeah.
You made a great point about that, so we can evaluate these receivers. All right, Voch, we're right under an hour. We'll go ahead and let these people go. Thank you so much for joining. Listen, we started training camp with battles. Now we're doing this kind of tap in. You guys make sure that you tag the like button. Voch, where can they actually not tag it? Smash the like button. Boop, 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 boop. Voch, where can they find you? What are you doing with the volume? Make sure that everybody knows what you got going on.
I'm just showing love here for Foots. I ain't plugging nothing. Y'all just know where to find me at. Love you, bro.
Hey, he's the GOAT. Hey, for Foots, for Foots. For Voch, it's your boy Foots. Voch, can you give me a drop on the way out, please? You producer. What we doing here, my boy?
Shucks, man. I got you, man.
City boy!
Hey, Voch in this jam. Peace, y'all. We out.